Tonight on ABC News Live Prime, for the first time, Today Show host Savannah Guthrie addresses the suspected abduction of her mother.
As a family, we are doing everything that we can. We are ready to talk.
I'm Trevor Alt reporting from Tucson, Arizona tonight, where anxiety is mounting as the search for Nancy Guthrie is now in its fourth day, and investigators are trying to chase down hundreds of potential leads, even investigating some possible ransom notes, as there are growing concerns that the 84-year-old is without medicine she desperately needs.
700 agents pulled out of Minnesota after two deadly shootings and weeks of protest in the wake of the drawdown of forces in Minneapolis. President Trump has asked, what have you learned? And we go inside Minneapolis communities where neighbors are helping neighbors, putting themselves at risk.
Yeah, I feel nervous all the time. Then I'm just relying on my intuition as a human that understands my privilege, that I'm willing to take the risk.
Billionaire Bill Gates breaks his silence over his connection to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, while Prince Andrew faces new fallout over the latest release of Epstein documents. The man convicted of attempting to assassinate President Trump on a golf course is sentenced. Music titans take over the silver screen in a new rom-com. We sit down with Grammy Award-winning artists Kelly Rowland and Cliff Method Man Smith to talk about playing old flames turn foes vying for the same network news job in relationship goals. And fancy a Valentine's Day dinner on a budget? The fast food giant that's offering caviar.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is Prime with Lindsay Davis.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Lindsay Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us. For the first time tonight, we are hearing from Today Show host Savannah Guthrie in the race against time to find her mother, Nancy. She posted a video statement to Instagram along with her siblings addressing her mother and reports of possible ransom notes. Take a listen.
On behalf of our family, we want to thank all of you for the prayers for our beloved mom, Nancy. We feel them. And we continue to believe that she feels them too. Our mom is a kind, faithful, loyal, fiercely loving woman of goodness and light. As a family, we are doing everything that we can. We are ready to talk. We need to know, without a doubt, that she is alive. Your children will not rest until we are together again.
Earlier today, sources told ABC News that the FBI sent additional agents and experts to assist as authorities have appeared to hit dead end after dead end. The sheriff in Pima County, Arizona, believes 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie was taken from her home against her will. As Savannah referenced, several media outlets have received ransom notes that are now being analyzed by the FBI and local authorities. The sheriff's office says no suspect or person of interest has been identified. Authorities have not confirmed multiple reports saying what appears to be blood was found outside of her home. The sense of urgency, as you can imagine, is increasing by the hour. Nancy Guthrie has serious health issues, including high blood pressure and a pacemaker. ABC's Trevor Alt leads us off once again in Tucson tonight.
Tonight, an anguished Savannah Guthrie and her siblings breaking their silence, speaking in a new Instagram video for the first time since their mother's presumed abduction.
On behalf of our family, we want to thank all of you for the prayers for our beloved mom, Nancy. We feel them, and we continue to believe that she feels them too.
Tonight, the FBI and Pima County Sheriff's Office back at the home of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie's mother, a search canine with them on scene. It's been nearly 4 days since police believe she was abducted in the middle of the night.
We don't know where she is.
Investigators are looking into unverified ransom letters sent to several local TV stations, including the ABC affiliate K-Gun, to determine if they're legitimate. Savannah Guthrie tonight speaking to any possible captors.
We need to know, without a doubt, that she is alive and that you have her. We want to hear from you, and we are ready to listen. Please reach out to us.
The sheriff's office stressed they're taking every potential tip very seriously.
Keep calling us with anything you see or you hear. Let us be the ones to dismiss it.
Investigators are racing against time. The 84-year-old relies on daily medication, and even 24 hours without it could be fatal.
Her health, her heart is fragile. She lives in constant pain. She is without any medicine. She needs it to survive. And she needs it not to suffer.
And we're now hearing police dispatch from the moments after Nancy Guthrie was reported missing.
Do we have a description yet of the subject? 84-year-old female, unknown clothes, not super mobile, possibly walking with a cane.
The officer sharing immediate concerns about her health.
Nancy has high blood pressure, pacemaker, and cardiac issues.
Tonight, NBC News reports Guthrie's pacemaker appears to have disconnected from its monitoring app early Sunday.
So wonderful.
Despite her physical ailments, Nancy Guthrie had appeared on the Today Show from Tucson just a few months ago.
Cheers. 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 Love you. Love you.
Tonight, Savannah and her siblings speaking directly to their mother.
Everyone is looking for you, Mommy, everywhere. We will not rest. Your children will not rest until we are together again. We love you, Mom.
Love you, Mom.
We love you, Mom. Stay strong.
We love you, Mom. We love you.
Trevor All joins us now once again from the scene. It's a rather active scene. Give us a sense of what's going on there, Trevor.
Yeah, Lindsay, so the crime scene tape behind me just went up within the past hour, and both the Pima County Sheriff's Office and the FBI are on the scene right now. We believe they just moved around to the back of the home. They have a search canine with them as well, so they appear to once again be searching the grounds. And we know that the Sheriff's Office is still leading this investigation, but sources tell me that the FBI decided to really increase their footprint to help out local law enforcement, and that means that they have a task force here on the ground. There's a supervisor overseeing it, but they have experts that specialize in technology, in data recovery, and even in hostage negotiation. Lindsay?
All right, Trevor All, thanks so much for your reporting. Next tonight, to the shift unfolding in President Trump's immigration crackdown in Minnesota. Border Czar Tom Homan announced today 700 ICE agents will now leave the state. And after 2 deadly shootings and weeks of protests, President Trump today was asked, "What have you learned from Minneapolis?" Matt Rivers reports from Minneapolis.
Tonight, a significant turning point in Minneapolis after weeks of violent clashes and the shooting deaths of mother of 3 Renee Good and ICU nurse Alex Preddy at the hands of federal agents. Border Czar Tom Homan announcing a drawdown of 700 federal agents, citing, quote, unprecedented cooperation with local authorities.
My goal with the support of President Trump is to achieve a complete drawdown and end this surge as soon as we can.
After drawing down 700 agents, some 2,000 agents will remain on the ground here. The White House claiming more than 4,000 people have been arrested. Homan saying the operation wasn't, quote, perfect, but it was, quote, successful.
President Trump sent me here to help de-escalate what was going on. We're not surrendering our mission. We're not walking away from our mission. We're just making this more effective and more smart.
Late today, President Trump acknowledging his administration could use a, quote, softer touch when it comes to immigration enforcement. Also tonight, a stunning moment of candor from a U.S. attorney appearing before a judge in St. Paul. That judge saying the government has routinely wrongfully detained migrants and violated court orders to release them. In response, an exasperated U.S. attorney, Julie Lay, describing the effort to get ICE to follow judicial orders as, quote, pulling teeth. "What do you want me to do?" she said. "The system sucks. This job sucks." The judge had already considered holding the administration in contempt. That attorney saying, "I wish you would just hold me in contempt, Your Honor, so that I can have a full 24 hours of sleep." An official telling ABC News Lay has since been reassigned. Lindsay, a spokesperson for DHS, calling that attorney's behavior, quote, unprofessional. As for that drawdown of some 700 federal agents, both Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz calling it, quote, a step in the right direction, but saying it should be faster and larger. Lindsay?
Matt, thank you. It has been a busy week in Washington and beyond, and we are so grateful to have Alabama Republican Senator Katie Britt back on the show. Senator, thanks again for your time. Temporary DHS funding, which includes funding for ICE, expires in about a week. As you know, you're chair of the DHS Appropriations Committee. Democrats want to end roving patrols, prohibit masks for federal agents, and in most circumstances require a judge to sign off on warrants for DHS immigration apprehensions. Is there a path to a deal here?
Look, I know that Republicans are operating in good faith, and I sure hope that my Democratic colleagues will do the same. At the end of the day, this is about the safety and security of the American people. We have been left a mess because of Joe Biden's open border policies, Lindsay. I mean, when we are looking at what he did, letting countless millions of unvetted people into this nation, it is imperative that we keep our streets and our communities safe. Look, if the Biden administration had done what it was supposed to do, Laken Riley would still be alive today. So would Jocelyn Nungary. So would Rachel Moran, and so many more. So we're putting the safety and security of the American people first. What Republicans will not do is change the law. What Republicans are not going to do is not enforce the law. And so it is really important to remember we are talking about a funding bill here. We had a bipartisan agreement that was a good bipartisan agreement that dealt with even having funding for body cameras and de-escalation training. That's something that Democrats walked away from.
A new poll out today found 63% of voters disapprove of the way ICE is enforcing immigration laws. Are there aspects that you don't agree with in terms of how ICE is currently operating?
Look, I believe in the law and I believe in enforcing it. I believe when we have criminal illegal aliens, they have to get off our streets. Lindsay, I believe if someone has been given their due process and they have their final orders of removal, it is time for deportation. And the American people overwhelmingly support that. Look, one thing that we are not going to do is walk away from state and local law enforcement officers and asking them to work with federal agents to actually be able to do those two things that I laid out for you. Currently, we have sanctuary cities across this nation that continue to refuse to comply. When they're given an ICE detainer and we have a criminal illegal alien in custody on a state or local matter, they release them back into the public, meaning that these federal agents have to go find them. Where we're having cooperation, you're seeing Tom Homan draw down the number of people there because that is what it'll take to keep our law enforcement officers safe and our communities safe. Look, let's not forget how we got here, Lindsay. We got here because of rhetoric from the left. You think about what they have been saying time and time again about our ICE agents, calling them the Gestapo, encouraging them to get in their face, doxing them and their families. This is absolutely, completely and totally unacceptable. It is creating an unsafe environment in our communities, and it's also created an unsafe environment for our law enforcement officers.
So you mentioned there are unsafe environments in the community. There are some who feel that ICE is creating those unsafe environments, i.e. the family of Renee Good, the family of Alex Preddy. Are you in agreement and alignment with all of the tactics that ICE has been using in Minneapolis?
Look, I believe in the law and I believe in enforcing the law. We want to make sure that it's done the right way. You've seen from the very top President Trump calling the governor, President Trump calling the mayor. You've seen Tom Homan come in and saying, we're going to take a look at this.
The president has doubled down on calls to nationalize elections. Under the Constitution, as you know, American elections are governed primarily by state law and are decentralized. While you have affirmed your support for the SAVE Act, I just want to ask you specifically about President Trump suggesting that the federal government should step in to run elections. Your response to that?
Yeah, so Lindsay, look, I believe that elections should be ran at the state level. Really important that we do that, but very important that they're free and fair. And what President Trump is saying here is he is saying, look, he supports the SAVE Act, which the vast majority of Americans do as well. It's important to note that we already have laws on our books that say that only American citizens can vote.
Senator Brett, once again, we thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Lindsay.
For more now, we're joined by Arizona Democratic Senator Ruben Gallego. Senator, thank you so much for your time. You, of course, sit on the Homeland Security Committee and want to see dramatic changes to ICE. What would those changes look like?
Well, the changes are what I think the American public wants. They want this immigration enforcement to act like we expect our local police officers to act. You need to be using warrants. You need to have your masks off. You need to have body cameras on. You need to respect the civil rights of the people you're dealing with. We need to have these massive suppression efforts that you see going on in these cities that are aimed more at intimidation than actually enforcement. And you need to actually have a real leadership and accountability, especially when it comes to some really hard times. Right now, we don't see any of that, and I think the American public is asking for that.
If DHS funding does lapse, that of course could mean that federal workers like TSA could go without pay. Any message to TSA workers who may be looking at the possibility of not being paid and won't understand why?
Well, I mean, it's very easy to understand why. The Republicans have a really good opportunity for us to continue working together to have good immigration enforcement, secure the border, and at the same time have respect for American citizens. The type of racial profiling that's occurring right now, the type of violence that's being done by some of these untrained ICE agents, this feeling that they can go into houses without any search warrants, that's entirely irresponsible. So when this shutdown happens, if it happens at all, it could be entirely upon the Republicans.
Are you optimistic that you all will be able to come together to have a deal?
Look, I'm not optimistic, not from what I've heard so far. But from what I hear from the American public, they think ICE has gone overboard. They want immigration enforcement. They want it done in a sane manner, one that respects, U.S. Civil rights. They expect it to be humane, stop separating families, go after criminals. But what we're seeing right now, and what we saw in Minneapolis with 2 U.S. citizens being killed in less than 2.5 weeks, shows what happens when there is no accountability for a massive force that has been thrown upon a city like Minneapolis.
As you just mentioned, Americans in polls have broadly disapproved of the job ICE is doing, but by and large, polls show voters trust Republicans to handle immigration. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I mean, when I ran my election, I was actually voted as more trusted than the Republican in terms of Border Patrol, border security, and immigration enforcement. And I think where the public wants right now is a happy medium. They want a secured border, which I think we could all agree has happened, and we are all very happy that it's happened. At the same time, they want sane immigration enforcement, which means going after criminals and not bringing more chaos into our streets, not separating families.
You were elected in a red state in 2024 as a Democrat. You've spent the past several months visiting key early primary states like Nevada, Iowa, and Pennsylvania. Should your constituents read anything into this with regard to the 2028 run for the White House?
No, I mean, we are actually going to all parts of this country, not like the states that everyone just focuses on, because what we know is that our message about focusing on the cost of living, giving people, working class American, a chance at the American dream, a chance to actually buy a home, start a family, start a business, do the simple things that maybe give you a little stability in life. I don't know, take a vacation once in a while. That is missing from this generation, a lot of generations of Americans, is a winning message, and that we need to teach other Democrats how to do that, because we're going to do better when other people understand that working class America is hurting right now. They just want to be able to live the same American dream that their parents have lived. We know how to campaign on that. I want to teach other Democrats how to do that, because when they win, the American public wins, and we actually finally have a chance to really truly live at the American dream.
And since you have traveled to these various states, you have an ear to the ground, kind of a pulse or a thermometer, if you will, of the American voter. Do you have any sense of what will happen in the midterm elections?
Look, I think right now the American public is very frustrated. They've been working and working and working, and they're still not making it. They can't pay the bills. They can't actually save a little. They don't feel any lift of any type of weight off their shoulders at all. They were promised that by Donald Trump. They gave him enough time to actually get that, but what he has done since being in the White House has not been concentrating on them.
Arizona Democratic Senator Ruben Gallego, we thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates is speaking out over his connection to Jeffrey Epstein. He denied claims made in the latest file release and apologized for spending any time with the convicted sex offender. Our Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas has the latest.
Tonight, Microsoft founder Bill Gates apologizing for his association with sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, saying he regrets every minute they spent together.
I was foolish to spend time with him. I was one of many people who regret ever knowing him.
Gates said he never witnessed or took part in any inappropriate behavior. He insists his relationship with Epstein was focused on raising money for global health.
Every minute I spent with him, I regret, and I apologize that I did that.
Tonight, his ex-wife, Melinda French Gates, says this all brings back memories of, quote, very, very painful times in her marriage.
Whatever questions remain there of what I can't even begin to know all of it, those questions are for those people and for even my ex-husband. They need to answer to those things, not me. And I am so happy to be away from all the muck.
The Justice Department's release of more than 3 million pages of documents making headlines around the world. In London tonight, new questions for the royal family as these pictures emerge of the former Prince Andrew kneeling over a young woman on the floor.
Good morning, Your Majesty. Will the royal family help the Epstein investigation? Do you have a message for Epstein's victims, Your Majesty?
Overnight, moving van spotted in Windsor as Andrew, now stripped by King Charles of his royal titles, is banished from his home at the Royal Lodge. His public efforts to distance himself from Epstein unsuccessful.
Do I regret the fact that he has quite obviously conducted himself in a manner unbecoming? Yes.
Unbecoming? He was a sex offender.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm being polite, in the sense that he was a sex offender.
Andrew now living at his brother the King's privately owned Sandringham estate. Lindsay, so many powerful men caught up in the sordid story. Bill Gates apologizing and saying he regrets every minute he spent with Epstein. And his ex-wife, Melinda French Gates, saying she's just happy to be far away from all of it. Lindsay?
Pierre, thank you. As we heard in Pierre's report, the UK has been buzzing over this latest fallout for former Prince Andrew amid renewed scrutiny of his ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Our foreign correspondent Tom Sophie Burridge joins us now. Tom, tell us more about the reaction there tonight.
Yeah, well, Lindsay, there's been intense scrutiny on Andrew himself and mounting pressure on the royal family more broadly to comment. A reporter from ITV News today shouting a question at Queen Camilla as she arrived at an event. The journalist asking the Queen if she had a message for Epstein's victims, and the Queen did not acknowledge the question or comment. ABC News confirming Andrew Mountbatten Windsor has moved out of his royal residence and will now live on King Charles's privately owned Sandringham estate, and that will be at the King's own personal expense and not that of the British taxpayer. Still no comment from Andrew after that photo was published showing him on all fours with a young woman lying underneath him on the floor. Andrew has previously denied any wrongdoing, but the allegations in the British press just keep coming. And what is true is that revelations about another Brit's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein are now dominating most of the headlines in the UK. Former government minister, Lord and former British ambassador to the US, Peter Mandelson, is facing allegations he passed sensitive financial information, which only senior UK government officials were privy to Epstein, and British police are now investigating.
Vice President J.D. Vance said that he would support Andrew being called to testify before Congress. How likely is that?
Well, at the moment, Lindsay, there's nothing to indicate that Andrew will appear, but the British Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer has suggested that the former prince should testify before Congress. And on that issue, Starmer's saying, quote, anybody who has information should be prepared to share it. You have to be prepared to do that, he said, if you're focused on Epstein's victims. And when a reporter asked Andrew's brother, Prince Edward, Tuesday, how he was coping with the fallout from the files, Prince Edward said it was, quote, really important always to remember the victims and who are the victims in all this. And Lindsay, revelations are still surfacing from this trove of documents and being widely reported in the UK press. So we'll just have to wait and see where this goes next. Lindsay?
All right, we certainly will. Tom Sophie Burridge for us. Thanks so much, Tom. Ryan Ruth was sentenced to life in prison today for the attempted assassination of President Trump. While the president was on a golf course in West Palm Beach in September 2024, a Secret Service agent spotted Ruth's rifle pointing out from bushes as the president was golfing one hole away. The prosecution said Ruth had planned for weeks, making 17 trips to scope out the golf course. Judge Aileen Cannon said to Ruth today, your plot to kill was deliberate and evil. Ruth's attorney said he plans to appeal. The Justice Department announced today new terrorism-related offenses in connection with the fatal shooting of 2 Israeli embassy staff members in May of last year. Elias Rodriguez was charged in a 13-count superseding indictment, which was unsealed today. The new indictment adds 4 counts of acts of terrorism while armed in violation of D.C. criminal code. Rodriguez allegedly approached the victims as they left a reception at the Capitol Jewish Museum last year and fired approximately 20 shots from a semi-automatic handgun and called out Free Palestine. Tonight, the FBI is investigating vials containing unknown substances found in a possible illegal biolab in a Las Vegas neighborhood, leaving several people sick. Here's ABC's Melissa Adon.
Tonight, as the FBI pores over mysterious vials and other evidence seized from an alleged biolab inside a garage in this Las Vegas neighborhood, new court documents claim multiple employees of the home's property manager became, quote, deathly ill after entering the home's garage or spending time in the home, which was also an Airbnb. One employee, who they call Kelly because she didn't want to give her name, told investigators that 5 days after entering the garage, they got so sick they could not get out of bed. Law enforcement sources told ABC News they took 1,000 items from the home, including vials of unknown substances, some labeled in Mandarin Chinese. The property manager, Ori Solomon, now under arrest, facing both federal and state charges, including disposing of hazardous waste consistent with biological agents. The homeowner is a Chinese national who was arrested in 2023 after authorities in Reedley, California said he operated an illegal biological lab that was funded by Chinese banks. He's pleaded not guilty. Lindsay, records show that same owner has nearly 24 properties in and around Las Vegas that sources tell ABC News are now being searched. Lindsay?
Melissa, thank you. Early this morning, a second grader accidentally shot themselves with a gun brought to school. It happened at an elementary school near Baltimore. Police say a teacher was able to secure the gun after it went off. The 7-year-old was taken to the hospital with a wound to their hand. Investigators are looking into how the student ended up with that gun. Today, the Supreme Court rejected a bid by California Republicans to block a newly redrawn congressional map. The congressional map was backed by Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom and endorsed by voters ahead of the 2026 midterm elections. The court did not explain its decision, and there were no noted dissents. The move allows the state to move forward with a map enacted by Proposition 50 that could allow Democrats to flip 5 seats currently held by Republicans. Coming up, widespread layoffs hit the Washington Post. We'll take a look at the massive firing by the numbers, plus migrants living in fear in Minneapolis after the fatal ICE-involved shootings.
Todos tenemos miedo aquí en estas ciudades y ahorita ellos nos están apoyando. Se dieron cuenta cómo nos están tratando, cómo están prácticamente cazando a los ilegales. Decían que venían por criminales y se están llevando gente que no es criminal.
And a number of automakers have announced recalls today. We'll have the specific vehicles on that list coming up. Welcome back, everyone. Since December, 3,000 federal immigration enforcement agents have been out in force in the Twin Cities, arresting thousands under the banner of Operation Metro Surge. As we reported earlier, Border Czar Tom Homan said today 700 of those agents will now be sent out of state. Census Bureau data shows roughly 1 in 10 workers in Minnesota is foreign-born. Their businesses generate tens of millions of dollars for the city of Minneapolis alone. And as many in Minneapolis told our Matt Rivers, everyone from restaurant employees to delivery people to rideshare drivers, they've had good reason to fear the government's operation.
Todos tenemos miedo aquí en estas ciudades. Es vivir más que nada con el miedo. Pues debido a la situación, pues está un muchacho en la puerta abriendo y cerrando, viendo si es amigo o enemigo, porque pues ahorita anda muy dura la situación aquí.
Ever since federal agents came to Minneapolis, this is how one restaurant operates. One person in, one person out. Front door locked. Guard up. A restaurant that caters to Latinos, concerned their clients are targets.
Pues todos tenemos, yo creo, el mismo temor de hasta salir a trabajar, de salir a hacer las necesidades básicas, de ir al doctor, a comprar comida. Te pueden agarrar y te pueden llevar, separar de tu familia.
You're scaring the kid.
They've all seen the clips, federal agents bursting through doors.
Muchos videos donde se han llevado gente aquí enfrente, aquí en la esquina, han hecho redadas.
It means a lot more delivery orders and fewer in person. Luis Reyes Rojas, the restaurant's owner, feels connected to this community, so he stays open, determined to keep serving people, even if it risks his business.
Mucha gente ordena por lo que es las aplicaciones, más que nada como en la pandemia, que te lo lleven a tu casa, que es muy triste ahorita ver que hay mucha gente que no tiene de comer. Y ahorita ellos nos están apoyando se dieron cuenta cómo nos están tratando, cómo están prácticamente cazando a los ilegales. Decían que venían por criminales y se están llevando gente que no es criminal. Y pues tú te despides en la mañana y no sabes si va a ser el último día que te despides de tus hijos, que le das un beso a tu hijo o a tu hija.
There are those who say their privilege, being a U.S. citizen, white skin, no accent, economic means, allows them, and some would say compels them, to go into the streets and try to help.
It's just the basics,
This is a pretty simple ask. Right now, I am going to shop for a family that does not feel safe to shop for themselves.
Across town, this person, who asked to remain anonymous for their own safety, let us tag along on a special grocery delivery to a migrant family too scared to leave their home for fear of ICE.
Is this something that you're hearing a lot happening across Minneapolis right now?
Yeah, I think people are trying to figure out how to help directly, and a lot of our community is focusing on schools, food, medicine, transportation.
Have you ever gotten nervous doing this kind of thing?
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like there could be retaliation against you?
Yeah, I feel nervous all the time. And I'm just relying on my intuition as a human that understands my privilege, that I'm willing to take the risk.
Have you had it where people are nervous when you deliver groceries to them? Like they're nervous about having anybody show up to their house?
I see a combination of nerves but gratefulness in the same moment.
The migrant family now knows we're close.
We're getting close to the neighborhood where we're going to do this delivery, so we're going to turn the camera off for now to make sure that we maintain their privacy. ¿Cómo han estado los últimos días?
Un poquito mal, triste porque no hay...
Los días han sido mal.
Sí.
¿Cómo?
Porque hay mucha migración y no podemos trabajar.
¿No puedes salir de la casa?
Sí, porque yo soy el sustento de mi familia.
Okay.
Tengo miedo de regresar.
¿Hay toda la familia aquí adentro?
Mis hijos.
¿Los hijos? ¿Cuántos tienes?
2.
¿2? ¿Y ellos no están saliendo?
No, ni
¿Para la escuela tampoco?
Solo por Zoom, por redes.
Por Zoom. Entonces no estás saliendo de la casa, ¿no? Para nada. ¿Cuántos días has estado adentro?
Ya 2 meses.
2 meses? Sí. ¿No has salido por 2 meses? Wow.
What's up, officer? How's it going? I'm just chilling at my job in the Uber. No. What do you mean if I'm from this country?
I can hear you don't have the same accent as me. That's why I'm...
Oh, so you're going by accents now?
In early January, Ahmed bin Hassan was parked at the airport when federal agents came up to his car. He is Somali American.
You guys just shot somebody now. Who else you guys want to do?
That ain't us, big dog.
This video of their interaction went viral, perhaps because he did not back down.
Criminals doing Uber? Oh, yeah. That's not how it works, brother. Maybe criminals are doing ICE.
Do you think what happened to you is kind of a microcosm and an example of what's happening to your broader community?
What's happened to me is happening in more exaggerated form to the Somali community on their everyday life. There's no place where they have a refuge that they can get away from ICE. It doesn't matter if they're documented U.S. citizens. It doesn't matter if they have workers permit. ICE is literally pulling up to them, harassing them anywhere.
Walking down the streets of Minneapolis has become perilous if you are a minority, according to a dozen conversations ABC News has had with members of various community groups here in the city.
The big boss over here.
What's going on?
They're just harassing people based on skin color, man. Are we in Germany or something?
Come on.
What do you guys want to do today? You guys want to take me in or something?
Oh, that depends. Are you an illegal alien?
Bin Hassan even taking on Greg Bavino, the Border Patrol commander at large, then overseeing the federal operation.
Stand still.
Random stops, being asked to prove citizenship, something that is simply happening a lot less, if at all, if you're white.
But we didn't know the degree that American democratic system could be geared towards actually making your life hell as a minority in an American society, you know?
How tired is Minneapolis right now? How tired is your community?
People are just like overburdened, you know? It's like there's so much you can put on any beast or any human being that it can continue to function as normal. You know, we are at a breaking point now. That's why I'm still using my voice so that I could put a voice to the oppression.
After anti-ICE protests broke out across the country, President Trump announced that federal agents will no longer be deployed for riot control unless asked by local authorities. But he vowed they will protect federal property. And yet for many in Minneapolis, the damage has been done, and their lives pushed into the margins of their own city.
Es como estamos saliendo por las cosas, corriendo con miedo. Digo, pues mientras podamos y continuemos, pues vamos a resistir. Es lo que estamos tratando de resistir, como mucha gente en sus casas.
Really meaningful reporting there. Our thanks to Matt Rivers for that. ABC News asked DHS about allegations of people being targeted because of the accent or color of their skin. They responded, allegations that ICE engages in racial profiling are disgusting, reckless, and categorically false. This type of garbage is contributing to our officers facing a more than 1,300% increase in assaults against them. A person's immigration status makes them a target for enforcement, not their skin color, race, or ethnicity. Law enforcement uses reasonable suspicion to make arrests as allowed under the Fourth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. The Supreme Court has already vindicated us on this position. Still to come, all eyes on the top dog, the Pooch crowned as the winner of the Westminster Dog Show. And just in time for Valentine's Day, the McDonald's offer that will bring a little class to your date night. Welcome back to Prime. Here's a look at the stories making headlines right now. In an emotional video post on Instagram, Today Show host Savannah Guthrie and her siblings addressed the suspected abduction of their mother, Nancy, and reports of possible ransom notes, saying in part, we too have heard the reports about a ransom letter in the media. As a family, we are doing everything that we can. We are ready to talk. It's been nearly 4 days since the 84-year-old was abducted from her Tucson home in the middle of the night. Authorities said they still have not identified a suspect. Sources tell ABC News that the FBI is sending additional agents and experts to Pima County, Arizona, to help reinforce efforts on the ground. In Minnesota, border czar Tom Homan announced a drawdown of 700 federal agents effective immediately. He cited unprecedented cooperation with local authorities. This comes after weeks of violent clashes and the shooting deaths of Renee Good and Alex Preddy at the hands of federal agents. Some 2,000 agents will remain on the ground. President Trump acknowledged his administration could use a softer touch when it comes to immigration enforcement. Public health officials said there are at least 12 confirmed measles cases in Collier County, Florida, linked to Ave Maria University. The outbreak marks the first reported cases in that county in nearly a decade. The state's health team said that these cases most likely originated from students who traveled out of state during the holidays. Dozens of skiers were rescued from a gondola that stalled in New York's Adirondack Mountains. Emergency crews were called to Gore Mountain after a mechanical issue disabled the gondolas. State police said around 20 cars that carried approximately 70 people were stranded. And still ahead, mass layoffs at the Washington Post, gutting a third of its staff. We'll dissect this by the numbers. And an athlete suspended for doping ahead of the Winter Olympics. Those details coming up. Welcome back, everyone. The Washington Post today announced layoffs impacting a significant portion of its entire staff. The announcement was made this morning by executive editor Matt Murray, who blamed financial pressure and a changing media environment as the newspaper has faced a number of struggles in recent years. Let's take a look at the Washington Post layoffs by the numbers. About 1/3 of the entire staff was laid off, including at least 100 people working in the newsroom. At least 2 departments, sports and books, were shut down altogether, with others suffering heavy losses. It's a damaging development for a historic newspaper that was founded back in 1877 and since 2013 has been owned by Amazon founder Jeff Bezos. But the company has recently struggled, having lost $100 million in 2024, according to the Wall Street Journal. Murray also said the outlet's organic search had fallen nearly 50% over the past 3 years, and some recent backlash has been costly. NPR reported that the Post lost more than 300,000 subscribers after an endorsement for Vice President Kamala Harris in the 2024 presidential election was blocked. But today's staffing changes are not the first. The Washington Post Guild said that the outlet's workforce has shrunk by roughly 400 people over the last 3 years. And still ahead, thousands of car recalls announced. Is your car on the list? We have the details. Plus, we sit down with Method Man and Kelly Rowland, who are starring in a brand new rom-com about old flames becoming foes and a fight for a top network news job.
All right, Lindsay, over to you in 3, 2.
Hundreds of thousands of car recalls, the top hound that took home Best in Show, and McDonald's with caviar. These stories and more in tonight's rundown. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration announced that Chrysler is recalling several models totaling more than 450,000 vehicles. The recall notice affects certain models made between 2024 and 2026, like the Jeep Cherokee and Wagoneer, as well as popular pickup trucks like the Ram 1500 and 3500. The regulatory agency said that the recall is due to an improperly designed trailer tow module where the trailer lights may fail to light up and the trailer brakes may fail, which increases the risk of a crash. The Caribbean-themed casual dining chain Bahama Breeze announced it will close their doors after 30 years in business. Their parent company, Darden Restaurants, announced that 14 Bahama Breeze restaurants would close permanently across 9 states and that the company would convert the remaining 14 locations into other Darden brand restaurants. The company anticipates converting the remaining restaurants within the next 12 to 18 months. Darden Brands owns other chain restaurants like Olive Garden, Longhorn Steakhouse, and Yard House. An Italian athlete was provisionally suspended from competing in the upcoming Winter Olympics after testing positive for a banned substance. 24-year-old biathlete Rebecca Passler will not be able to compete in her hometown of Milan Cortina after doping agencies found traces of letrozole during a sample collection ahead of the Games. The drug is used to treat breast cancer but can also control the negative side effects of steroid use. Today, we celebrate the birthday of a civil rights leader. Rosa Parks was born on this day in Tuskegee, Alabama in 1913. In 1955, Parks pushed back against segregation on buses and kicked off the Montgomery bus boycott. Parks was an active organizer and leader during the civil rights movement, and her actions eventually led to the integration of public transportation in Montgomery. Often called the mother of the civil rights movement, Parks is remembered by millions for her courageous actions in the face of widespread racial discrimination. She died in 2005 at 92 years old. McDonald's is adding a touch of elegance to one of its best-selling items this Valentine's Day with a new McNugget Caviar Kit. The fast food chain announced a limited-time partnership with Paramount Caviar to bring McDonald's fans a premium product for free on February 10th. Each kit contains a 1-ounce tin of McNugget Caviar, a $25 Arch card for chicken McNuggets, creme fraiche, and a mother-of-pearl caviar spoon for serving. The kits are available exclusively online. Penny, a 4-year-old Doberman Pinscher, was named Best in Show at the Westminster Dog Show. Her performance wowed the judges in a field of over 2,500 dogs. This year's 150th show featured 500 more dogs than last year, with a wide variety of popular breeds represented. They are music legends, but now they're hitting the screens as old flames turn foes, vying to be the boss of their new network's top morning show. Grammy Award-winning artists Kelly Rowland and Cliff Method Man Smith star in the rom-com Relationship Goals, and known as mortal enemies, but they're forced to work together. Will they jeopardize getting the job of their dreams, or does love find its way into their tense rivalry? Let's take a look.
I want what my parents have.
Text from Candace Dancing Girl in a red dress emoji. Read text?
No!
Yes, absolutely!
No! Disconnect. Thank you.
Thinking about you. Big Daddy. Do you want to reply?
No! Discontinue. Disconnect.
Don't leave her hanging, Big Daddy.
Please. Really?
Big Daddy is here, also known as Cliff Smith, Kelly Rowland. Thank you. That was the best clip to intro you guys for. Welcome to the show. Thank you both so much for joining us. So how did this come from book, Relationship Goals, to movie, and for you all to have the opportunity to...
Well, I'll start it off. I think our producer, Devon Franklin, he had saw a best-selling copy of Michael Todd's book, Relationship Goals, and he inquired to him whether he wanted to make it into a movie or not, and he was like, absolutely, I've already wrote this down.
Devon gave me a call, and was like, you know, there's this really great script. I'd love for you to read for the role of Leah. I read for it, hit him back in 24 hours. Everybody just jumped off of the page. I was just so intrigued. And then it was time to find my leading man. And Amber Raspberry from Amazon came up with Method Man. And we saw so many people, but he came in with this suave, cool, you know what I mean, and was perfect for the role. And
sorry, Morris Chestnut.
Oh, stop it.
But Devon Franklin, you all mentioned, he has described this, because obviously on its face, this is a rom-com, but he has said there's also a spiritual aspect that he's hoping that people might even find God or enhance their relationship with God. Tell us about that aspect.
Well, I think it's really smart the way it's done. I think that sometimes when you hear the word either spiritual or faith-based, you immediately go to, you know, if you're not faith-based, you're like, this isn't for me. And I think what they've done a beautiful job with is basically making it feel very inclusive, because these characters are so honest and so authentic and so human, and, you know, great in their mess, you know what I mean, as we are as humans. And I think that they're just literally finding and discovering their way in love and fixing their aim.
And you also serve as executive producer.
Yes,
what was that like, you know, bringing this, having so much control and really being able to get your fingerprints on the arc of this budding romance?
I mean, fun. To be honest, I think that when I would watch movies, in particular rom-coms, I would always think, like, what did it take to put out all this story together? You know what I mean? From the set, the wardrobe, the makeup, the everything about it, the lighting, the director, the this, the that. So as I'm a student, you know what I mean? I'm still learning. So I would watch Devon do certain things and make certain decisions. And the budget part of it is crazy. But like all the other things about it are just as colorful and beautiful and wonderful to learn.
Outside of directing, she did every job up there.
Is that right?
Pretty much.
He's being kind. Thank you.
Both of you are married. Cliff, I think that your kind of relationship goals personified. Been with your wife, dated from 1992, got married in 2001. What is the secret?
There is no secret. The secret is no secret. I think you take all these things with a grain of salt. Circumstances, when they come, you handle them in a manner that's respectful of your partner, you know, respectful of your union. And you just try your best to have as much integrity, honesty, and communication as possible between you two. You know, respect the space. And people will respect it as well.
How about for you, Kelly?
The communication, I think it's, that's a big one for me. And allowing each other to evolve, you know what I mean? And when you are evolving, like when you feel like you got to ask the questions, like what's going on with you? How was your day? What, you know what I mean? Like into them, you know what I mean? Into them, into him. And him into me. So, yeah.
I love that, because I have a problem with that. People ask me, you know, I don't know if you do it or you do it. People ask you, how you doing today? I'm doing fine, and I just leave it at that without even reciprocating the feeling. I have a real problem with that. I'm working on it.
All right, Kelly, Cliff, thank you both
Thank you.
so much. Really appreciate the time and conversation. Their movie Relationship Goals is available now. Watch on Amazon Prime Video starting today. And that is our show for this hour. I'm Lindsay Davis. Be sure to stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. Thanks so much for streaming with us.
You heard? New York, you heard?